Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live stream with Mint Market. It's Monday, 10 a.m. New York time. Let me remind you that all being done and said here is my personal opinion. Do not take this as investment advice. Everything being shown and said here is my personal opinion, and don't risk real money on anything being shown here by me. With that being said, let's just start right into our analysis. Before this session, I want to mention that ICT streamed as well, or still streaming. So don't know, most probably not watching my stream. However, we have. Let's start with the economic calendar. We have CPI and PPI on Tuesday and Wednesday, so high impact news driver. So we have to be careful today. Today is not the highest high probability trading day, can be very choppy, and it's actually would be better to not trade today. That's also what ICT mentioned today. So ICT doesn't want to trade today. However, we will still try. I will still try to do analysis today, practice, and also try to find a trade anyways. But today probably especially not a high probability and even harder day, most likely. And also, let me just turn the volume of my phone down. And also, a setup I would have liked to take was already fulfilled. So let's see what we have left and if we have something left. With that being said, here we have the midnight opening price, here the 8:30 price, and we had actually a pretty nice setup already, in my opinion, ahead of the stream at 9:30. We took out 15-minute high here. We had a market structure shift on the 5-minute high, low, higher high break, and then it retraded to this 1-minute fair value gap, inversion fair value gap here at 9:30 at market opening, and sold off, and also back into this breaker here and sold off, attacked the equal lows here, attacked the morning session liquidity, went back down to today's opening weak gap, and even further, let's check this out, it went even back into last week's new week opening gap here. And so we are in a discount already. We are below the 8:30 price, below the midnight opening price. We have taken out sell side liquidity already. However, we have also taken out buy side liquidity. So we have taken sell side and buy side liquidity out. And now I think that's the reason why we don't have high probability left during this trading session here. So I'm not looking for a short anymore at the very moment. We have also, this is here our opening range gap here. So 9:30 we dropped from last week's close to today's 9:30 opening here, and yeah, we traded through this. So what we could potentially look at is the mean threshold of this new week opening gap. We can see if we can reach down into this. Let's not just eyeball it. It would be a level we could see today, in my opinion, still is 5344 to the downside. However, don't really want to take a short here at the very moment. And buy side liquidity has been taken as well. So hard trading conditions for now, in my opinion. So let's see if we can find a trade, if there's anything that develops, which is what is worth taking, in my opinion. So we have, let's see if we actually get a market structure shift to the upside. And we did. And I missed that. Huh? There was actually high, low, high, higher high breakthrough trade into a fair value gap. So there actually was a buy setup here. I missed that, unfortunately. Just forming on the 1 minute chart. We have another market structure shift here now on the 3 minute as well. However, it already took off. Don't think we will get another entry here, but this would have been an entry here in this fair value gap, which I missed, unfortunately. And that would be a nice trade for already 9 handles here. Ah, too bad. Too bad. Let's check out the chat function real quick. Looks like it works. All right. Looks like everything works so far. And that's a pity. That would have been an opportunity I would have liked to take. We're below 8, below. I would have targeted this gap here. That's what it is. 2 missed chances already today. Hi TT. Glad to have you back in my stream. Just mentioned that I missed a trade here, and I'm a little bit disappointed at the very moment, because here we had a market structure shift, a trade into a fair value gap. We were in a discount below the opening range gap, below the midnight open, and it took already off. Would be a nice trade here, 10 handles from this fair value gap to this opening range gap. It's a pity. However, we might see further chances. Who knows what we get. are back in this opening range gap here. We can define the midpoint here and use this as a target here since we closed already above. So here is the midpoint. 5374 I think is a target we could see being hit soon. All right. So far, I think now we're actually exactly back in the range here. Also want to measure the midpoint of this range here. Oh no, we're actually above it already. High to low, midpoint here, 5368 approximately. So we're back in the range. And that would have been a nice trade here. Let's see, actually, we have, I think, buy side liquidity here, resting here. So first target is almost reached or is reached if you eyeball it here, the midpoint of the opening range gap. So almost reached. So let's see if we stay strong here, then we have potential equal highs here above us from the 9 o'clock opening. So I think that is a potential draw on buy side liquidity now if we stay strong so far. However, for me at the very moment, I think it's pretty much 50-50. So right in here, midpoint of this range, midpoint of this opening range gap. So there is no high probability trade right now. I would have taken partials or closed the trade here at the discount end of this gap. Why do I prefer ES than NQ? You mean today or in general? You mean we can actually have a look at the NQ as well. I mean, there might be some days where the NQ is better to trade than the ES. Depends on the market structure, depends how clean the price is. So there might be some days where there's clean setups in the NQ or in the ES. Today I think there is no big difference. So today both is equally tradable or not tradable. However, I prefer the ES because it's a little bit slower, and the NQ has a lot more volatility. It's a little bit wilder, let's say it like this. So the S&P is the little bit conservative one. The Nasdaq is a little bit wilder. I wonder, I prefer Nest due to small account. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just comfortable with the S&P. I like the S&P. Um, Not a special reason. I sometimes I trade the NQ as well, especially if like price if NQ is much cleaner than the S&P. But I don't know. I like it from a risk management perspective. It's a little bit slower. I can define the risk very well with like 10 5 to 10 handles in the S&P. Usually now the volatility is even bigger, and the Nasdaq sometimes the ranges are a little bit bigger. With So in terms of handles, I have to have larger stop losses and larger movement as well. But I feel just more comfortable with the S&P. It's a little bit more. I don't know the English term right now. For me, it's a little bit more predictable. Let's say it like this, and not so impulsive, not so wild sometimes. The S&P. I think it's definitely the more conservative one, and I feel just more comfortable with that one. Long explanation for a short answer. But I think it's if you prefer one or the other, I think they're pretty similar most of the time. Most of the time they are pretty equal. So they should be in sync. So on a good trading day, they're basically behaving the same direction, same setups, or almost same setups. And if they're not in sync, then it's probably better to stay out of the market anyways. And we can see that the Nasdaq is back and took out the equal highs already, and the the S&P is weaker so far, has not taken out the equal highs I've pointed to yet. So we could see that as a the weak sister concept. So we could see that. But on the other hand, as of now, we have a divergence. So if the S&P doesn't catch up, the S&P so far failed to make a higher high, while the Nasdaq was able to. So that, as of now, that could be signaling us that we see a turnaround here. And however, I'm not. I don't want to be too fast here. S&P might still want to catch up. Hello, Abdul. Nice to have you back. I'm really, I'm really surprised that you guys are watching my stream. I know ICT streaming was live streaming as well in the morning. I'm not sure if he's done yet. Maybe he's still streaming. So I'm very honored that you are in my stream anyways. Again, ICT said he doesn't want to. Yeah, exactly, TT. My stream starts 10 a.m. New York time. So UTC, you see it on the chart. You can calibrate your time zone. UTC -4, 10 a.m. That's always where I start with the silver bullet from 10 to 11. And yeah, good to see you again streaming. Sorry, I really can't watch the full stream because I have some problem going on with internet today. Just came to say hi. All right, no worries. I hope you can fix uh, your troubles with the internet, Abdul. cool that you stopped by anyways. And yeah, stop by or watch my stream whenever you can. And as ICT mentioned in his live stream in the morning, uh, he would not he would not want to trade today, so he basically advised not to trade today. But I'm still here and I'm still doing the analysis, and let's see if we can find a trade, even though it might be even harder today or not as high probability as sometimes. And we can see we have a fair value gap here in the 5-minute chart. So far, it seems like we get support here at the midpoint of this opening range gap here. So midpoint is here, right at the fair value gap. So that's a hypothetical entry here for a long to target this buy side liquidity here. I'm not entering here because I was actually distracted by the chat, and also the risk management for me. I mean, the stop could be here below this 1-minute order block here. So one could have entered here, stop below here, and targeting the buy side liquidity. Nasdaq is bullish so far. And took out its daily high already, and I think an S&P will follow soon. So I I would think that S&P follows soon and at least takes out the equal highs mentioned by me earlier here. So let's mark them actually visually. So that's buy side here. And why not before 10 a.m. TT? I'm actually in front of the charts before I start my trading day. Starts at 8:30 a.m. New York time, so I'm actually in front of the chart earlier anyways. However, streaming, I try to be very efficient with my time and my trading, so I want to do a 1 hour streaming window and 1 hour trading window here. Yeah, because it's also, if you're streaming, if I try to perform live here in front of all you guys, I need to be focused, and it's also a little bit, how do you say, it's not so easy to keep up the focus. So if I start earlier and stream longer, it's harder for me to have full focus on the charts. And yeah, so just if I want to be efficient, 1 hour in, out, and make money and go home. So just time efficiency, and also a little bit energy saving, because if I would stream for 3 hours, I would be probably very, very tired after. But my personal day starts at 8:30. 8:30, I'm in front of the charts. I'm doing my analysis before I stream, and I'm doing also sometimes personal trades before the stream starts at 10 a.m. However, 10 a.m. is one of the best trading windows in my opinion. So it's one of the best times to trade, one of the best times to be in front of the market, always something going on. So yeah, I think 10 to 11 a.m. is perfect. And Abdul, all right, trade safe. We'll meet tomorrow. Perfect. All right, cool. Take care. Take care, buddy. And would be looking forward to see you tomorrow. Uh, all right. So I'm waiting here for this buy side being hit here. We would have another trade set up here. In hindsight, too late now, of course. Um, and we can take this annotation off. We already have the divergence between the Nasdaq and the S&P. S&P still has to catch up. We have taken out highest high already here, and yeah, we will see it very soon being the buy side being hit here in the S&P. I'm pretty confident about that. We have traded through the opening range gap here, found support here, and these equal highs here are very, very juicy in my opinion. Everybody before the market opened, everybody who went short, everybody before the market opened had here the positions, maybe has their stop here right now to secure the position. And delivered, so we saw that that's being delivered, and S&P still, Nasdaq still strong, and I think we will see S&P catch up. What is your streaming time, TT? Let me know. Your trading time, TT. Are you trading earlier than 10 a.m.? When are you starting your trading session? Would be interesting to share. All right, buy side taken. So in the S&P, the equal highs, I can remove that here. Buy side taken. We can also remove the fair value gap here. And let's see. Let's see if we stay strong here in the S&P, if we hold ground here and go higher, or if we go lower after taking out the highs here and probably see, or if we see a market structure shift here, a potential one. That's what I'm looking at. Fix 30. 6:30. All right. Yeah, sure. I mean, I like the stream. I like the streaming, and even if you guys are watching and if somebody's writing in a chat, it's even more fun. It's not so boring if it's just the charts and me. And yeah, if you guys give me a lot of thumbs up and if I get a lot of subscribers, then that's definitely a motivation for me to keep doing this longer term. So far, I plan to do it till the end of the year. Yeah, if I have fun, I will continue doing it. And if I get good feedback, of course, if you guys like it, I will continue doing it. And yeah, okay. So now we took out the highs and we are retracing. So far we have this fair value gap here. So that's what jumping into my eye. We have traded into that after taking out buy side liquidity and then retraced pretty strong. We're here now at the range of at the premium end of this opening range gap. Let's see if we hold ground here or if we see a market structure shift with an energetic run lower. if we're in fact bullish and make a higher high like Nasdaq, I want to see it hold ground here and go higher right from here. If we retrace lower energetic, that's for me not an indication that we take out the daily high in this session. So should stay strong here. We have another fair value gap here. Should stay strong here. It should have support here at the premium high of this opening range gap, with all this being said here, in my opinion. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching and for coming to the stream. And also, I'm always happy if you write in the chat, so I know that someone is there, someone is watching, and whenever you have questions, feel free. I don't. Sometimes I might have to concentrate on the chart, but I'm happy. I'm always happy to talk with you guys and to I'm happy to answer any questions, or I'm also open for opinions. So if you guys have a trade idea going on, I'm always happy to take your opinions as well. You did watch T12 SMC Trader. Okay, I don't know him. I have to check him out maybe. SMC Trader, but I have difficult understand his accent. He's pretty good. Okay. Nice. I have to check him out maybe sometimes. I hope my accent is better or is understandable. Let's say it like this. I'm not a native English speaker, but at least I studied in the US for some time, so I hope my English is decent enough. My mother language is German, so yeah, but I wanted to do it in English because I wanted to have more people to reach. But yeah, thanks for the feedback. I can check him out. Perfect. Thanks for the feedback. Happy. I'm happy if I'm understood well. All right, and so far we see price being supported here at this level, and we might see another attempt running this buy side here, the previous today's high in the S&P 538950 538 sorry 538950, yeah. So we could see an attempt running these highs out. So far I don't really see a trade idea. I think I mean, there's some scalps definitely here, so one could have taken a scalp here or here. I would have taken it only before these equal highs are ran out. Now I don't really want to take it anymore. We're still below the 830 price, however, that was my primary target. We could of course see this buy side liquidity hit soon, but we're also back into a premium already, so that's why I'm not so confident taking a long here at the very moment. I would be taking a scalp if I see a decent setup. I mean, one here, that would have been an entry here, possibility for someone here retrading into this opening range gap, fair value gap, stop below here this order block. going for the daily high here. However, as I mentioned in my market outlook yesterday, um, so far it looks strong, the price action here, actually. But I mentioned that one of my trade ideas is to see price trade into this weekly gap here, and then probably go lower into this wick here, whichever traded first, or maybe lower to the wick and then higher into this gap. So we saw first trade into this weekly gap here. So first the up move. So what I'm looking at is if we at some point see lower prices this week, or if we just stay very strong and continue the run up. Hi Benny, nice to have you back as well. Cool that you are watching. I'm good. How are you? Try to type a little bit also. Yeah, a lot of you guys watching today. Again, happy about that. Yeah, and here we go. We have attacked the daily high already in the S&P, as well as we following the Nasdaq being strong today. And let's see how far we can go. So far it looks pretty strong, no signs of a retracement here, no market structure shift. So far no indications, no indications for short setup. That might change. I'm curious to see what it does after taking out this high here. That's a significant 15-minute high here. So I'm watching the reaction at this high, but so far it looks pretty strong. And also the Nasdaq so far makes no signs of weakening at the very moment. So Benny, you are not doing a stream today or at the very moment yourself? I saw that you did a stream yesterday at I think I was out, so I couldn't watch, but I saw that you did one in your community. Will you do another one today? Or when will you do the next one? Let me know. Oh, already did one. Perfect. Yeah, nice. How was it? You have any expectations about the S&P market? About the stocks? I think today is a difficult market day, but already two nice setups, which I unfortunately missed. But let's see, maybe there's more coming. But my calls so far, my analysis was not so bad, at least on tape reading, at least on calling the levels here. I'm happy so far, even though I didn't enter anything myself. Nice to see the post the weekend session. You mean the weekly review, TT? I don't know what you mean with the weekend session at the moment. Okay, just trading crypto, Benny. All right, yeah. I covered a little bit of Bitcoin in my weekly outlook. I guess you mean the weekly outlook, TT, right? I thought it's a good idea. I mean, I'm just doing intraday trading, so my opinion can change intraday and can change basically every day. But I thought it's a good idea to just I will try to do weekly outlooks. So from the daily chart. Oh, thanks, perfect. Yeah, yeah. I thought it's a good idea to do a weekly outlook on the daily chart to start with a bias into the week. Doesn't mean it's always right, or doesn't mean I'm only trading what I'm expecting here. But it's a game plan to start in the week, and of course every day or every time something can change with which which would change my weekly bias or my daily bias. But yeah, yeah, I think it's good, and I will try to continue to do a short weekly outlook every week, and then we have a framework to start the week and see if the things work out like this, and if they don't work out like expected, that's also something telling in my opinion. So if I have an expectation price going up, for example, and being strong, and it fails, then that tells me also something about my bias, and I might need to change my direction or reconsider my analysis. Um, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Benny. Watch it. It's not this week. It's not super strong. I was basically saying um, that I was looking at the weekly chart. As I mentioned already, we have a gap here on the weekly chart and the wick here, which I consider a gap as well, with the 50% level here. And I said basically, um, whatever level gets hit first, if if the market structure allows, I would like to trade in the opposite direction. So we could see it first go into the wick and then back up into the gap, or first into the gap and then into the wick. So I don't have an extremely strong bias. I mentioned also that, gun to my head, I prefer the buy side. So if I have to commit to one side, I would prefer the buy side. The buy side for me looks a little bit stronger on the stocks, because we have already, on the daily chart, we've taken sell side liquidity. We have closed inside or above the new week opening gap of last week. We have traded to 50% of this wick here, had a strong reaction, strong close. So from a price action perspective, even though we are in between and I can see setups on both ends, I think the buy side is a little bit stronger. But of course, and so far seems like I'm right, but it's just Monday. So, and we have the high impact news. We have tomorrow and Wednesday we have CPI and CPI. So we potentially see a lot of movement there, right? All right, back to the chart, to the trade setups. We have 10:45 almost, so 5 minutes until the full hour macro, as I call it, starts. So let's see if we maybe find that's the last time window for me where I'm looking for opportunities. So since I haven't traded yet, this macro, this from 10:50 to 11:10, that's the last window of opportunity for me in the AM session where I personally look for trades. All right, let's go back to the charts. We can see the fair value gap here at 8:30. Oh, Philip, nice. So many people watching today. Amazing. Cool to have you in the stream, Philip. Uh, yeah. So what I'm watching here is this fair value gap here at 8:30. we have traded through, closed above it after taking out the high here. So that's a potential inversion fair value gap here, in my opinion. And we have to see if we find support here, or if we go back below, and if this fair value gap turns into resistance. So that's going to be interesting in the next 5 minutes for me to determine the bias for the full hour macro. And so far, so if we see a reaction of that here, a bullish reaction, and if we close above this fair value gap here, that's bullish for me. That's for me bullish. That would be for me a signal that this was not a stop run, and that we don't see a turtle soup here, that we're not collapsing right after taking out this daily high here. But that remains to be seen for me. That's what I'm watching. That's what I'm watching, if this turns support or resistance here, this fair value gap. And also I want to be, let me be a little bit, go into detail here. So we have this fair value gap here, the fair value gap, the last fair value gap after that, before we took out the high here. So I want to annotate that. That's also sensitive price level in my opinion here. Here I'm referring to the fair value gap at 820 today. So I mark this here, and that's also a very sensitive level to me. And we can see that we've traded into this and that we had so far a reaction of that one. We cannot see it here on the 5-minute chart, but it's the second one here. All right, so since so many people are watching, let's see if we get a trade in the last 10 minutes. So far looks bullish. So far for me looks bullish. The reaction so far traded into this order block, this red down close candle, had a run up here. So far we closed at the low here of this fair value gap, wick just into this inversion fair value gap here. So far everything strong. So far for me an indication that we want to go higher and will not just turn around here. And also we're forming a 1-minute breaker here, low, high, lower, low. So if we break this high here, that's also basically a market structure shift to the upside again, and the breaker forming here. So we could potentially, what I'm basically looking is a opportunity to buy in a short-term discount level if everything stays like this. The only thing I would not like if I buy here is that we're already in a big premium. We're way above the midnight level. We're way above the opening range gap and almost at or above the 830 level. So the only problem I'm having buying here is that I'm buying in a premium in terms of the daily or the session range here. And that's what I don't like what I would not be too happy with. Let's remove this actually, because what I want to measure as well is the weekly gap here. Let's see where the mean threshold is, because that could be a potential upside target. I will remove the Nasdaq here to make this a little bit bigger. So mean threshold of the weekly gap here is 5409, 5410 approximately here. The green line, yeah. So 5410 is a potential. All right, let's remove the fib here. Is a potential upside target, which is 50% level of this weekly gap here. That's what one could potentially aim for if we stay strong. So far, well, I have a little bit retracement of that one. So far, didn't, yeah, just equal highs here. Didn't take out the high very convincingly. So no trade setup for me, unfortunately, right now. But I will stick around approximately 10 to 15 minutes longer and see if something forms here. The best one, in hindsight, of course, the best setups to take, in my opinion, today in today's session would have been here, this inversion fair value gap sell here, market structure shift, high, low, higher, high, trade back into it before 9:30, and then this run lower here, targeting the new week opening gap. That would be the nicest sell here. And then, which I unfortunately missed, and I'm a little bit pissed about that one actually, because I was not paying attention on the 1 minute chart, was here after dropping down here at 10 o'clock silver bullet setup here, the really nice run up, market structure shift here, low, high, lower low, broke it, closed above it, trade back into the fair value gap, and then took off running for these equal highs here. So actually I'm a little bit disappointed that I missed that one here. I would have liked to take that one. However, that's trading. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. As long as you win more often than you lose, everything is good. And all right, so far, let me check out the Nasdaq again, because I want to see here as well if we stay strong or if there's any sign of a reversal here, because I don't want to basically buy into that into a turtle soup setup, into a reversal setup. Really don't want to do that. So if I go long here, I will want to be very careful. And I will also use low risk here, because if there's any bullish support levels being broken, then I want to be out of this trade. So we are already in the macro window. And so far there's no real setup. Like I want to see this low being intact. So in an ideal world, I think this should stay in place here, this low here. Don't want to see this broken. That would be a market structure shift for me to the downside. So ideally I want to see a breakout here with a fair value gap, and then a retracement into the fair value gap to take a long here. Here it's very choppy, it's consolidating at the very moment, so I don't want to just buy into that. Yeah, and for everybody watching, let me remind you, or let me ask you if you like what I'm doing here, if you like the stream in general or that I'm streaming in general. Um, give the stream a thumbs up, and also if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. That would be really helpful and would give me a lot of motivation to keep doing these streams. That I would really appreciate a thumbs up from you and a subscription to the channel. All right, so far we just have to wait. Um, yeah, I can also actually explain it live to you as well. What I'm doing is I don't know if you're familiar with his concepts. I assume you are a little bit. I'm trading the ICT Silver Bullet. So basically, I'm looking for a fair value gap during 10 and 11 a.m. New York time. So um, if I have a target and a direction and a bias, I'm looking to trade for um, a fair value gap here where there is a candle to the left, a candle to the right, and then there is no candle of the same type next to it, like marked here, for example. If I have a fair value gap and I see price trade higher and then go back into this fair value gap to this shaded area here, to this purple range, then I try to take a trade into the same direction. So in this case, it's a bullish candle, a bullish fair value gap. So if we trade, if it trades into this fair value gap and I have a bullish target and a bullish bias, then I would enter a long here, trading into this gap here. I would put my stop below the candle who started the gap. So the gap starts here with this candle at 10:05. I would put my stop below here. And what I'm also doing, I'm not okay, perfect. So if you just started with ICT, I think the easiest thing for you is to look at go on his channel and check out the ICT Silver Bullet, and you find everything perfectly explained and taught by him. And I think it's also good to not to basically go to the founder of the concept. So check out his video, ICT Silver Bullet. You will find everything, and then you know exactly what I'm doing. What I'm also using is the 2022 model. You find that as well on his YouTube. It's called 2022 model. It's basically also a trade with fair value gaps after, so it can be also silver bullet at the same time, but it's actually requiring also a market structure shift like we do here. So in short explained for you, if you have a high, a low, a high, a low, a low, and this high is being broken, that's a market structure shift or market structure break here. And once you have this, that's basically your confirmation that you're right on side. And once this, once you have a fair value gap, you look for a fair value gap in the move that breaks the high. And once it retraces back below the high into a fair value gap, you can also take a long. And basically, the silver bullet is at the same time can be a 2022 model. But check out his channel for teaching purposes or for learning purposes, because I'm not actually trying to teach his concepts. I'm just doing analysis. I'm explaining sometimes what I'm doing, of course, and why. But I'm not trying to teach here. Just trying to basically work with his teachings and give analysis, use his concepts, do analysis, and do trade examples, trying to use them. Silver bullet and 22. I think it's called mentorship as well. So that's what ICT is teaching a lot, and he's teaching very well and very good concepts in my opinion. But what he's not doing is like streaming or giving you analysis or trade examples or live trading. So um, that's what I'm trying to fill in. I'm with these streams and but for understanding, I would definitely go to the source and check out this stuff. I cannot teach it as good and as perfect and as detailed as he does it. All right, so far we are strong. So far, that's an indication for me that we might see higher prices. We have a fair value gap here. So 1 minute fair value gap here. And so do I really want to take this trade? I'm not. I'm currently, we're in a consolidation. I'm not really convinced if I want to really go short and do long here and do the breakout. Not sure if I want to take a long here. I mean, the stop would have to be below this consolidation, but I think it's a little bit risky here to go long. I'm weighing out now if I want to go long here or not. So far we had the 1 minute fair value gap here and we trade higher, so yeah. So far looks good. Also trading higher on the Nasdaq. All right, and I think I will, let's see what setup we get here. We have 7 minutes left in the full hour macro, as I called it, since I don't know the name, till 11:10. So I will stick around another 7 minutes and see if, and weighing out if I want to really engage the market today, if I really want to do a trade. Again, the best two setups I missed already. And from my experience, whenever I miss like one or two really good setups and then just try to force a trade, just try to find something to enter just because I want to, then usually I get effed. You know what I mean? So I had to learn that the hard way. Whenever I miss trades and then try to force a trade, a setup too hard, then the chance that I'm taking a loss is high. So I try to avoid that. I learned from that already. And I feel like it's the same situation right now. I missed two setups, good setups I would have won a trade, and now I'm trying to force a trade and probably chase price, and then you probably catch exactly the high and get screwed. I mean, it can go way higher from here. You know, no one says that this has to be the top here, but it can also just turn around after taking out the high and go lower or consolidating. We have still upside potential. And I mean, I mentioned the weekly gap. I mentioned the gap from 5410. So that's still as long that's a potential upside target still. But I'm not so happy with the price action at the moment. All right, you know what? I will I will so here we have a fair value gap. I'm looking at that one. Hard. Hard, hard, hard. At least for me at the very moment. I want to take a trade. Thanks for watching, Benny. No worries. Nice having you. And we keep in touch and have a good rest of the day. All right. I think I'm really wrestling with myself if I should take a trade or not. I mean, we have a fair value gap here, so I could take a trade here, aiming for higher prices, but I feel like it's going to fail. I feel like it's going to fail, so I'm not. If I want to take a trade, I would have to take it right now. But I feel like I have it in my gut feeling that it's going to fail. So and we have closed already below this 1 minute fair value gap here, so that's not ideal. Ideal would be if it's bullish to see it go just to the midpoint or just a little bit inside. However, we have a volume imbalance here. Can trade to the volume imbalance here. We have another fair value gap here. So we have to, let me put that away for the moment. Yeah. I feel like it's more probable that we fail here, that we see a very sustained price run. And this for me is not encouraging for taking a long. So I'd rather look for a sell setup now than for a buy setup. Gotta be flexible sometimes. But so far we haven't seen a convincing market structure shift either. So if I take a sell here, I want to see speed and strength down and a real convincing market structure shift here, not just here consolidating or like going a little bit under a 1 minute low and then probably resuming higher. So that's not what I want to see. We touch this into the second fair value gap here. All right. Okay, I decided now I'm going to buy this, and I got the worst fill ever. However, I'm just do not copy this trade, please. It's really like just for trying to find a trade today. It's not what I consider very high probability trade here. Um, um, I'm really using low risk, and I'm okay with it failing now. I took this trade now because it traded into the second fair value gap here. I took out some short-term liquidity basically, and I want to see it now make a higher high. So now it should not come back down below here. So I'm using a very tight stop here. I want to see make a higher high with a lot of strength now without uh, coming back down here. Let's make it here, and it's just really one contract. If it doesn't work out, I'm fine. It's just for showcasing purpose and for me to uh, relax. But again, that's not a very high probability trade in my opinion. Do not try to copy that or whatever you do. And also, in order to have this trade work out, I think we need a lot of speed and energy now. So this needs to go through this high now, big green candles. And what I'm using here, I will use the FIB projection here. I will take this move from the body to the body, and I will project it out half standard deviation. So that's here. That's fine. Let me see how much that is in terms of handles. 5 handles, yeah. So let's just make a 5 handle scalp out of it. I think potential buy side draw is still the mean threshold of the gap here. It's 3, 4, 10, but I'm not feeling very comfortable here. I just want to basically get a sweep above this high here. Actually, let's make this trade like serious. Um, all right. Now that we have taken out the high, it should not take out the low here anymore. So if we come back down, it's probably going to fail. So my stop is really tight now, and I don't care if it hits my stop. And to make this trade serious, let me use the valid target here with the swing projection here. So I'm measuring the move. I take the body's candles here to be a little bit more conservative here, and I will do it 2 standard deviations and 1 standard deviation, which is here where my take profit is. Can see it at the very moment. So far, that's not a good sign here. We traded into the mean threshold of this week and broke lower. So I don't like this here. I actually thinking about closing the trade. Looks consolidating. Back into this fair value gap, but it's not a good sign that it came to the mean threshold of this wick here at 11.4 and couldn't make it through and goes lower, so that's not a good sign. I will give it a little bit more room, but I think the likelihood that I'm being stopped out here is very high now, and yeah, I think I'm actually going to close the trade. It's not worth it. All right, closed it. It's not showing the signs I want to see. Doesn't matter. So at least I did an execution today. It was not really So we can see it, okay, lost 25 bucks, great. I can live with that. And yeah. All right, now we have a market structure shift here. Actually, I don't want to leave the stream today. I wanted to close it already, but I feel like it's getting interesting now. So now we have a market structure shift to the downside, actually only on the 1 minute chart, but still on the 2 minute as well. A low is being broken so far. But it's very choppy, so yeah. Thanks TT. You know, there's sometimes if you study ICT concepts a little bit longer, you can really get a high degree of precision, and there's signs like red flags, which really tells you that the trade is not good or likely going to fail, and that's what I saw here. And yeah, I mean, it was not a big deal losing this trade, but with such a low risk, but still, if I can prevent the loss, why not? And since we traded to the mean threshold here, went lower, closed here below this fair value gap here, you can see that the second candle here closed below the fair value gap. So that was a sign for me that the trade is not good. It's probably consolidating. It can still do whatever it wants, but it also doesn't look very bearish at the moment. It looks like lethargic here. It might just be slow and choppy, might still go higher. Latency, ultra, could you set your stream to ultra low latency? I'm not sure what you mean right now. I will look into that. I will look into that. I will try to see what I can do with my settings. Oh, okay. Okay, I got what you mean. I will check that out. I will see if I can do something, but it might be also, you know, it might also has to do with the internet connection, or maybe it's YouTube. I always feel like with every live stream I take, there is just a delay of a couple of seconds. But thanks for the feedback. I will check out with my streaming software if there's anything I can do. I will check that out after I close the stream. And of course, if I can do anything to reduce the delay, I will do so. All right, so far that doesn't look like very bullish to me. I think it's also not very convincing bearishly. So I think I overstated my time at the time already. I wanted to be in front of the charts here. I think the chance that we find a good setup still is decreasing rapidly. So I think it's not worth staying in front of the charts anymore. I will close the session here, I think, very soon. I will be back tomorrow, most likely, at 10 a.m. And I will hunt for new setups. And tomorrow, let me remind you that we have high impact news drivers. So tomorrow is going to be interesting, most likely. So would be cool to see you back tomorrow in my stream, and would be amazing if I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And yeah, at least I tried to trade today, so I'm satisfied that I did something. And even though it was just basically break even. But yeah, we will be back and we will look and hunt for new setups. I wish you a great afternoon or a great day wherever you are at home. And I would be very glad to see you next time in my stream. Bye bye.